minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in to WOCA The Source. Do you know, if I were to do this job down in South Florida, I would pretty much be required to be bilingual with the second language being Spanish. You know that, right?
You would.
Yeah, so many of the ads in the publications, they're all online, I guess, nowadays. But when you look at the job openings in broadcasting and you look at South Florida, this might be true for South California as well. Bilingual is the preferred language skills of a broadcaster.
And they changed the street signs to Spanish. So.
If I had been down there and I knew Spanish, I might already know about La Santa Muerte, but I don't. And from what I understand, a lot of Spanish-speaking people know about Let me see if I can say it right. La Santa Muerte. So I did learn Spanish a little bit, only to the extent that I can kind of read it without knowing what I'm saying. Like I can pronounce it, but I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing anything right. Tomas Prower has an interesting book he wants to talk to you about. It's titled La Santa Muerte. Unearthing the Magic and Mysticism of Death, a true story based on actual events. This is going to be fascinating and perfect timing for Halloween. In addition to his credentials, Mr. Prower has lived in and worked in Buenos Aires, Santiago de Chile, Tijuana, Reno, Long Beach, and Los Angeles. Probably laughing at my pronunciations. He worked for the French government in South America as a liaison between France and the United States and the South American member states of, oh my gosh, Mercosur. I don't even know what that is. Good morning, Tomas. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
You're bilingual, I'm sure.
I am, yes.
Are you trilingual? Do you have Portuguese in your repertoire?
I am trilingual, but not in Portuguese. I do speak French.
Oh, that would make sense. French, of course. Okay, Buenos Aires, that's a Spanish-speaking country. I was thinking Brazil. Brazil is Portuguese-speaking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Well, good morning. Thank you. Where are you right now?
Currently, I'm in Long Beach, California.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you for getting up early to be with us today. So how did my pronunciation, La Santa Muerte, is that right?
You actually pronounced that perfectly. And all the city names, Buenos Aires, not many people say it correctly, but you did it.
Oh, good.
It's very good.
I think
I was on the phone like, wow.
I had two years of Spanish. The first year the teacher wasn't as pretty as the second year, and the second year I learned everything I know. Everything I know about Spanish I learned when the teacher was pretty. So just to show you how I work.
Good year.
What does it mean? I'm going to guess. Does it mean the murder saint or something? What does muerte mean? No?
If you take the exact translation of La Santa Muerte, it translates to the holy death, because in Spanish, Santa, kind of like San, it means holy.
Oh.
But
okay.
It also translates over to saint. So the English word for saint is actually a derivative from Latin, which means holy.
Okay.
We're talking about like San Francisco, Saint Francis. But this is mostly talking about the holy death.
Okay, so muerte doesn't mean murder; it means death.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, so it could be any death. So is this a real person?
Personally, I don't see it as a real person, but it really depends on who you talk to, because this is a very big, growing religion, but it doesn't have a set of an organized structure and an organized theology. So depending on who you talk to, La Santa Muerte could be a human who died and resurrected in deific form. It could be just the essence of death itself, or it could be an angel of death. It really depends on who you talk to.
I'm imagining that the spirit that we're identifying as La Santa Muerte is female. Am I right or wrong?
No, that's correct. It's always almost...
I'm sorry? You disappeared there.
Oh, sorry. No, it's definitely a female entity.
How do we know that? If it's not a human body, if it's not an embodied spirit, how do we know it's female?
The easiest answer is based off of language, because in Spanish, every word has a gender. It could be masculine or it could be feminine. And the word muerte is a feminine word. So whenever you talk about muerte in Spanish, you have to use feminine adjectives.
Oh,
so naturally,
okay.
when talking about death,
Okay. There's
And
something
that just carried over.
something going on with the phone. I don't know if it's the phone or the line, but you're jumping in and out a little bit. But it doesn't sound like the normal. Maybe the saint is messing with us, huh?
That's right.
Possibly.
This is like a late night conversation.
We were told that the saint has a strong connection with criminals and outcasts.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Was that got a good thing or a bad thing for the rest of us?
It depends. It depends because this entity is seen as not having judgment. Like, if you are a bad person, she'll help you traffic drugs. She'll help you find a John for the night. She'll help you murder somebody because she really doesn't care what you do. But she'll also help you save the life of somebody, cure people, get you money, get you a job. You ask her for something, and she doesn't care the reasoning why. She just does it.
I'm stuck on help you find a John. I just...
Oh, definitely. She's known, she's not officially canonized by the Catholic Church, but among her members, she's unofficially known as the patron saint of lost causes, criminals, prostitutes, murderers, mariachi players, and anyone who works during the night.
Now, how do they fit in there? A mariachi player.
I know, right? It's one of those things where it's like, what? One of these things is not like the other.
I always wanted to ask about that.
Some down the road.
That
we have to
big,
ask
yeah,
them.
we've got some, not too far from here.
Yeah, a band.
They have a guitar that is so big. It's probably not called a guitar, but it's gigantic.
Yeah, it's a guitarrón.
A guitarón.
I love that.
I didn't know that. Is it okay? I want to ask about that. Let's talk about La Santa Muerte. Do you have any evidence at all in your own experience that this is real?
I have evidence. It's not empirical evidence, really, because you can't measure it scientifically and say it is. But it's just a lot of experiences and a lot of coincidences where if you put it all together, you start to think, this can't be statistically possible. All these coincidences happening. So I take it on faith and I say, oh, it's La Santa Muerte.
Okay,
Other people will be like, it's coincidence.
Now with that said, we have to hear the coincidences. Give us an example.
Biggest coincidence from my own life is that once I started really learning about her and really thinking about her, I was just thinking, wow, I really need to meet some people. And then the next day, my friend calls me and says, hey, do you know about La Santa Muerte? In very hush-hush, unsure tones. And I'm like, yeah, I just started talking and learning about her.
Oh, my.
People. And then a month after I start meeting people, I have people asking me, hey, do you know about Santa Muerte? We heard you're a writer. Do you want to write a book on it? And things just snowballed really like that.
If I'm walking downtown L.A. and one of those ladies has said that could be a John over there talking about me.
He's stuck on this.
It could be. It's very likely that if you are
I am stuck on it.
Yeah. You're a night walker.
Yeah, she come up to me, Santa Muerte said to me, this is the death angel, but you're offering me sex. I don't understand why that would even come to be. All right.
Well, this is a religion unto itself, but it still must be embraced by Catholicism.
It is?
Kind of. Catholicism has a kind of it's kind of like that black sheep of the family, because it's really growing, especially in the United States, and it's really growing among English speakers now. Mm-hmm. But the Catholic Church doesn't want to officially recognize it, because in the Catholic worldview, the Easter and Jesus' resurrection, that symbolized defeating death, overcoming death. So it kind of rubs them the wrong way when you are also kind of worshiping death, when that's what Jesus defeated. So they don't like it. They officially say, I think the last pope said that this is a demonic religion, this is evil, don't worship this.
Oh, really?
Which gave it more press, and everyone's like, what is this Santa Muerte that the pope doesn't like?
Oh, it gave it more press. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if she's helping people, so help me understand this. So the people who, except for the mariachi players, I don't understand.
They play at night.
Except for the people you named, it sounds like
they play at night.
It sounds like they all need somebody to put them back on the track and get them in the right order, and that seems like it would be the mission of the church. Or am I wrong about that Santa Muerte's role in their lives?
No, you're right, because a lot of people who come to her are like kind of misfits, people shunned by society. And so you have people who are saying, you're a sinner, you're wrong, don't go to God for help because, you know, you're already damned to hell.
Oh.
So they think, well, who can I turn to? Well, if you think of death, and death doesn't judge, because death will take anyone, that there's no preference if you're young, old, good, or bad. If you deify death and you say, this entity is not going to judge me, I want to do bad or I want to do better in life, no matter what I've done, La Santa Muerte is not going to judge me. And so they feel a kind of acceptance with that.
Well, that's the truth.
Makes sense.
I mean, yeah,
Sure.
death won't judge you. I mean, everybody dies.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
And people need to have that kind of self-esteem along with self-assurance that they are worthwhile human beings and they're just trying to make themselves in their world better.
Exactly.
If this wasn't already tantalizing or titillating enough, now I'm reading that there's a connection between La Santa Muerte and the LGBT community. This becomes...
Oh, big time.
Yeah, what does
Big
that mean?
time.
What does that mean?
It's really for the same reason, because you have the La Santa Muerte religion is very Catholic-like. A lot of the Catholic rituals are the same. A lot of the belief system is the same. It just has a heavy focus on death.
Is Jesus part of
The
it?
Virgin Mary. What?
Is Jesus a part of their teachings or whatever they do?
A lot of people who are hardcore Santa Muerte followers consider themselves Catholic, except replace the Virgin Mary with La Santa Muerte and have that be like the feminine religious idol.
Okay.
And then that's their whole belief system. They just replace it.
Okay, so therefore there'd be no Jesus, right? If there's no Mary.
Kind of. It depends on who you talk to, but the overarching consensus would be, if you talk to a hardcore Catholic who also believes in La Santa Muerte, they'll say, well, God trusted his only son to die. He trusted Jesus to be in La Santa Muerte's arms for 3 days. So it kind of elevated death into like the mother protectress for Jesus during 3 days before his fantastic comeback. So they see that as a good thing.
We have to take a little break, Tomas. It says here in my notes that you have in the book step-by-step instructions for spells, magic, and prayers for practical results and long-term goals, including money, love, sex. I already know about that one.
Yeah.
Healing, legal issues, protection, and more. So let's take a little break. I know everybody's fascinated. The phones are ringing, so we'll take a few phone calls after the break as well. But let's go to the break and be right back.
Florida State looks to rebound from a tough loss to Georgia Tech last Saturday by welcoming in the Syracuse Orange in Doak Campbell Stadium right here on WOCA The Source, brought to you by Triangle Sales, your local Bud Light distributor in Marion County. Kickoff is at 12 p.m. this Saturday, Florida State versus Syracuse, right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA The Source.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business, because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com, Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services, when your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements. From damage repairs to new construction, Damage Control Services is here to help.
All right, 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Our guest is in California, so his clock says something way earlier. Well, 20 after 6 probably out there.
Yes, he does.
Tomas Prower, thank you so much for getting up early to do this interview, but I am so fascinated by this. During the break, I was thinking about Chris Farley. I had to ask Robin what the guy's name was. I couldn't remember, but he used to say, Holy Mother of God. Do you remember who used to do that?
Mm-hmm.
So the name that we're talking about, what is it? La Santa Muerte means the holy death, like, right? Would it be the whole? Okay, so there's nothing. Okay, but there's feminine in the Spanish version of that, just in English. So you could say the Holy Mother of Death. Would that be possible?
You could call her a lot of things. She has a lot of titles. A lot of people like to use irreverent titles that probably aren't good for radio broadcast. But
Okay.
she goes by many names. La Santa Muerte is just the neutral. Everyone understands this name.
Does the following do the followers of this gather in organized ways? Do they have buildings? Do they have and are they coming from the same places? Could they have been in a previous life? I don't mean they were reincarnated, but I mean before they moved to California. Would they possibly Jewish or Lutheran or Buddhist or something else besides Catholic?
It's unlikely. Usually, it's a very Catholic transition because a lot of people who meet it realize how Catholic heavy it is, and if they're not already Catholic, it kind of turns them off. Like, oh, why don't I just join Catholicism?
Huh.
But a lot of people who actually worship it, they don't really congregate because there's not many really big temples or churches or anything. It's a very underground thing because it's very uncomfortable for people to say, yes, I worship death. You know, you get a lot of negative reactions and you get a lot of negative publicity that way. And a lot of people were having really hard lives, trying to change their lives around. The last thing they want to do is stand out in a negative way like that. So it's a very hush-hush kind of religion.
And we're told that at least the churches in our community that we witness, their congregations are depleting. We're told that the faith over in Europe and France and places like that are depleting. People aren't filling the churches anymore. Are they going to this kind of a faith, do you think? Because they need something.
This doesn't sound.
I think so. I mean, it's growing very, very quickly. It mostly gets negative press. But despite all that, it's still growing really rapidly.
But the Pope, you said, equated it to Satanism, or am I wrong about that?
Not literally, but a form of like evil worship. This is wrong. Kind of statement.
You're a good-looking guy. I'm looking at your picture right here, and I'm not with the LGBT community, or whatever. I'm an old guy, so I can say this now.
That's right.
The older I get,
I respect that. Thank you.
No, you are a good-looking guy. Let me go to the phone and say hello. I think somebody's on there. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Is this in any way similar to what is practiced in the Caribbean islands called Santeria? I'll hang up and listen.
Oh, goodness. That's a great question. I think I've heard of that, too.
Good question. It's actually not. It has some similarities in that it has a lot of Catholic elements behind it, but the manner of worship, the tools used, the prayers and rituals used, they're very different. Other than a Latino form of Catholicism, it's very different.
Tell me about yourself. You mentioned earlier that your friends who recognized that you're a talented writer kind of persuaded you to write about this. Does this take you in a different direction? Does it open up new avenues for you? What has this done for you as a writer?
It's gotten me amazing interviews like this one, so I'm very happy with that. but in addition to that, no, because I've been wanting to write for a long time. I've written novels and just get rejected. And then someone mentioned, well, why don't you write about this?
Oh.
The second I did, it was like offers asking for it. And now people are asking for a backlog of stuff, saying, hey, what else have you written? Could you also write about
That's
this?
awesome.
Like, it really opened a lot a lot of doors.
Maybe La Santa Muerte is helping you.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll accept that help.
Does that make us like a John? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, I'm teasing. I'm just
Get
teasing.
me my money.
You speak about magic and those kind of powers. What kind of magic is equated with this?
A lot of it has kind of like Catholic-based magic, so a lot of it is special prayers, special candle lighting. But as it's grown, it's brought in a lot of other religious practices stuff, mostly from like New Age and Wiccan kind of religions. So there's like talismans and amulets you can make. There's protection shields, have the judge rule in your favor powder, and a lot of make him love me potions. Make my husband be chaste and love only me. There's a lot of everything. Yes.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does dechaste mean?
Kind of stop running around with people who aren't me.
Okay.
Stop fooling around. Okay. De-chased. Make him the de-chaser.
Yeah, right.
By the way, I have a new way to judge magic.
What's that?
Oh.
If you can fool Penn and Teller, then I think it's magic. if you can't fool them, it's not really magic.
Oh, you gave Tomas an idea now. He's on the move for that.
Yeah, have somebody with La Muerte, La Santa Muerte, have one of them go and try to fool. Of course, I don't know how I don't know what you're going to be able to get done.
You are very young to seem like an ambassador. We understand you're age 26, but yet you're deeply involved with the French government, being the cultural liaison.
That is cool.
Right. I took French in high school, and then I studied abroad in South America. And then, it's just meeting the right people, networking. And, once you get your foot in the door, you have to show that you have the skills to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to network, and you have to talk to people, and you have to have, I guess, be engaging, be someone people want to talk to. And I can't really explain it. The stars just kind of aligned up, and an opportunity was given, and I went for it.
Wow.
I was studying abroad in South America the other day.
He loves the Spanish weather girls on their channel, by
and
the
then
way.
the boss walked in, and I had to get off that screen. Sorry, it's a joke. Well, this is a fun interview, isn't it? Tomas Prower, you are, I think, the author of a book that's probably going to change your life in who knows which ways, but I definitely want to read it myself. I'm sure our listeners do. Before we run out of time, do you have a website?
I do not have a website per se. I have my Facebook page, which is my name, Tomas Prower. And the book, La Santa Muerte, Unearthing the Magic and Mysticism of Death, also has its own Facebook fan page where you can get links, talk to other people who are involved in the community, and just learn more.
When you were doing the research for your book and things, you must have compiled a lot. How did you decide what to leave in and what to not include?
That was a very hard one, because I met a lot of people, and they were very insistent, like, this is the only kind of Santa Muerte spells, and if you put this in, it's not going to be authentic. And because it's not a unified religion per se, so it's really hard to find what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to put a mix of the hardcore Santa Muerte followers and the more newer followers, and I try to explain to the magic, not just, this is how you do magic, create this potion, your life will change. I try to explain, like, the psychobiological effects that creating this potion has that changes your life, so people who are kind of skeptical on magic can see at least somewhat of a scientific following behind it. Because I'm a skeptical person myself, so I need to know why this is working, not just make this pixie dust and then bam, life is going to change. I don't buy that myself.
Oh, how fascinating to know you're so genuine about
But if it did, I mean, there are certain things in this lifetime that we don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And if we don't understand it, but it works, you still use it, right? We don't really, people don't really understand electricity. We don't really understand it.
Yeah.
We know how to harness it pretty well, but we don't really understand what the heck it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true.
Fascinating conversation. Tomas, good luck with everything. Thank you for being on the air with us. So there is no website. It's a Facebook page, right?
Right. Just go to Facebook and type in my name, Tomas Prower, Tomas Prower.
All right, I just did.
Or you can just type in the book, La Santa Muerte, Unearthing the Magic and Mysticism of Death.
Well, there you are. I just clicked like, and you have a new liker. That's me.
Wonderful.
Oh, and you put it live on the air on WOCA. There you are. Hey,
cool.
Look at that.
You have to promote and market. That's
well, we're trying our best.
that.
We're trying our best. Exciting news, amigos.
We'll get a mariachi band.
Tomas, thank you so much. Anytime you're in the area or just want to call us back and be on the phone again, we'd love to have you back. This was a great interview.
Oh, sure. Likewise.
All right, we will take a little break. We will be right back. This is WOCA Ocala. Hang in there. We've got Diane Radican up next. This is The Source. I'm trying to kill time here. We'll be right back. This is WOCA.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. The GOP set to nominate Representative Paul Ryan as the House's new Speaker today. Ryan has said he would support the bipartisan budget deal up for a vote.
Vice President Joe Biden said not everyone got what they wanted, but it's a good deal.
It will last for 2 years, and it will prevent us from lurching from crisis to crisis.
Critics of the deal blew off steam on Twitter using the hashtag #ZombieBudget.
Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland. Meanwhile, former House Speaker Dennis Hastert expected to plead guilty today in his hush money case as part of an agreement with prosecutors. Game 1 of the World Series goes to Kansas City, beating the Mets 5-4.
First at bat for the Royals at Game 1, an inside-the-park home run. But the Mets answered back in a battle that would lead to a tie in the 9th.
Fox Radio's Jeff Monasto at the World Series last night's 14-inning game, the longest ever World Series Game 1 ever. Fox News. We report. You decide.